You can tell I'm a first-time storyteller because I can't part with my sangria yet. I really thought I was coming to like an amateur hour kind of thing. I did not know people would be as talented as they are. I'm very, very nervous. Please support me. Thank you. Okay, and I knew what the subject was. I learned it on my way over here, and so I just thought, if I threw my name in the hat, what would I say? This is what I came up with first. 2 years ago, I decided my life's going really well. I have an extra bedroom in my home. I am going to be a foster mom. And so has anyone else been on that journey? No? Okay. Let me tell you, I'm going to take you on a little journey. So I go through these classes, and the classes are meant to kind of like prepare you because it's really emotional and all of those kinds of things. And when you start out, you go on either the foster parent path, which is made very clear that this is a temporary role, or you go on the adoption path, which is meant to be permanent. And they say if you go on the foster parent path, do not fall in love. You love the child as if it's your own, but you keep an emotional distance so that it doesn't destroy you. So I'm like, I can totally do this. And I'm so in. And I know that I can like walk that line. I'm good. So my friends have a surprise baby shower for me. And in that time, I collect all of this stuff, all of this gear for all of these potential children that I'm going to meet, that I'm going to have in my home, and it's wonderful. And one of the things that I first clung to that one of my friends saw me love was this little stuffed pink pig from IKEA. It was like $5, and I was like, my kid's going to have this, and I get really excited about it. So fast forward all these classes and all of this, all of these things they put to make sure that you're like really in. And my home is ready, it's licensed, it's been like just a wild ride. And I get a phone call, and it's like, hey, you just got licensed yesterday. We have 2 kids who are ready to come. So you pick, here's what we know. And so they said, we have a little girl, she's got blonde hair and blue eyes. And then we have this little boy who is, we don't know a lot about him, it just says he's chubby and happy. And I was like, that's my guy. Bring that guy. So 2 hours later, I have this child being brought to my house. And he was younger than the age range that I had. And so I go to Target and I buy everything. And I'm like, what's his size? And he's huge. I mean, he's huge. He's just like this big baby. And now I'm like terrified. All of a sudden it went from this is theoretical to I have a human that I am responsible for that's going to be here in just a few minutes. So I get all the stuff, and it's like everything slows down, and the door opens, and I see this face, and he just like tilts his head and he smiles, and he just like lights up, looks at me, and I was done. And everything that they taught me in all the classes, I was like, this is my child, my future flashes in front of me. We're dancing at his wedding. I mean, it's like all the things. He is my child. There's no question. So fast forward to there was zero transition, none. I mean, it was the most natural, effortless thing I've ever experienced in my life. And we got 6 amazing weeks together, and he was reunited with his family. Wonderful situation, like the ideal thing. This is what I signed up for, but it gutted me when he was going home. And I remember, knowing that this is going to happen, and I'm holding on to this pink pig, and I'm thinking that this is the one thing. I'll send all of the clothes, I'll send all that kind of stuff, but I want to keep this one pink pig. This will be the thing that I keep for myself to remember him. And as he's going, he's kind of scared, and he's 15 months, and then so he's really little, and so he's getting kind of, nervous. You can tell he doesn't really know what's going on. So at the last minute, I'm like, take the pig. And he leaves. And of course, I'm a mush pile and devastated, and I'm never doing this again. And this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, and all that kind of stuff. And then I decide, I I said to one of my best friends, I said, I need that. Am I allowed to swear?
Hit it.
I said, I need that fucking pig. I need a version of that pig for me. I need that. So one of my friends goes to IKEA, which is a living hell, honestly, and you don't go for one thing, right? Like you go to spend the day. And so they go and they get me the pink pig and they bring it to me so I have it. So this is right before Thanksgiving of last year. I've never seen or heard anything about him again. We're wrapping up. Hang in there. And so I actually work at the aforementioned overpriced college that we referred to earlier, Rollins. And it's a small network. And so, he's been gone, but we live in the time of Facebook, and I decide I can look and see if I can find his family members and just see if I can see pictures and how he's doing. And so I look up his grandmother, and I see that we have a mutual friend, and it's one of our former students. So I send her a message, and I say, hey, how do you know, blah, blah, blah. And she writes back and she said, oh, we used to work together. How do you know her? And I said, I used to know her grandson, and I left it at that, and that was it. Now at this point, I have a new little boy who, that might be a story for another day, because that is a 13-month tale that I'm not ready for yet. But I leave it at that. And like 6 months later, I get this random message from the girl, and she said, Adrienne, Miss Blank, the grandmother, wants you to know that he's doing great. So she must have made the connection herself. And so she said, she wants you to know that he's doing really well. She says, thank you. And I'm completely overcome with emotion. I'm finding out about him. He's doing great, all this kind of stuff. And then I get another message like 2 minutes later that says, and his grandmother wants to know if you gave him a pink toy. And I was like, yeah, it was a little pink pig. The next thing that I got was a message, and it was a picture of him, longer. Like he was like big, stretched. He was always big, but stretched this time. Sleeping next to his pink pig, and it's like the toy that he always keeps. And so that is how, that was love. That was my full circle moment, and that's how I knew it was love.